Hello and welcome to my live stream today of WCW 1995 game. Going to be a bit of a quick one today. I'm just going to go through a few bits, but I haven't been on for a while, so I thought I'd just jump in here and see if I can put together a few bits. We're going to go through some of the contracts we've got going up to it, and I'm hoping I'm going to get through to perhaps the next episode of Nitro we've got coming up. We do have the pay-per-view coming up fairly soon. Which is going to be our Fall Brawl, which is happening in September at the end there. So we've got that coming up. So got to start planning and get a few matches on the card for that. Fall Brawl, obviously, back in 1995, they had the War Games match, and I want to carry on with that. So we're going to hopefully get together an idea for how the War Games match is going to occur on our pay-per-view. So what I'm going to do here is just go through. We've had a few emails come through. We've got Robbie Brookside, who I've recently hired. He has also been hired by CWA on a handshake deal. Yeah, got no problem with Catch Wrestling Association, which is a European promotion. Absolutely no problem with that. I'm not really worried about Robbie Brookside being around too much. As you can see, his popularity, especially in the UK, in America, is absolutely in the toilet. So we're not particularly worried about him and what's going on there. He's basically there as a bit of a fall guy in the Blue Bloods to do a few bits and bobs in there. So not too worried, nothing too exciting there for Robbie Brookside. So we'll worry about that if he starts wrestling for him too much. I would imagine he's probably going to prioritise WCW as well because we're absolutely humongous. So yeah, we'll see. If he wants to wrestle for them, fine. I don't care. What else we got here? So we'll delete that one. Mike Enos. Yeah. Was looking to bring him in as a possible someone to kind of beef up the tag team division. Was going to get him in as part of perhaps the Destruction Crew with Wayne Bloom. Again, he's got himself a contract there with AWF. Not worried about that one. This is just guys I've kind of got on my short list that possibly looking to sign. I don't want to bring too many people in. I can't go too crazy with the signings because otherwise I'm just going to massively bloat my roster. So I'm trying to avoid doing that. So not too worried about Mike there. Drug test fees, $3,000. I'm doing very little drug testing because I know I'll end up pinging everyone on my roster, which I don't really want to do. So I'll do low-level drug testing just because every now and then it might bring something up that makes the game a bit more interesting and a little bit of a wrinkle to deal with, but we're not too worried there. Psychosis has been offered a contract by CMLL. He's obviously the Lucha Libre wrestling over in Mexico. I'm a little bit more concerned about Psychosis. I'd quite like him to be on my roster, but then a part of me is like, he would just come in and be a mega jobber. It's a bit of a job to push these guys. And one thing I'm kind of struggling with at the moment is just TV time. Nitro and Main Event are only an hour long. I don't have a tremendous amount of time to do much with either of those shows. So pushing these guys who are kind of right down there is difficult. I've set myself the challenge of kind of trimming the roster before I start bringing these guys in. I don't want to tease myself and bring too many of these kind of bigger names in, or these guys like Psychosis, and I think the other one is Rey Mysterio. I don't want to bring them in and kind of, they're a bit of a cheat code. We know they're all going to be good. We know Jericho are good. We know that Psychosis, Mysterio, all these guys will be really good. So I want to trim down my roster as it is. We need 26 active wrestlers. We've got 47, which is a lot, and I've got a few other offers that I've made as well. So I might have to consider what I'm doing there because I don't want to overbloat my roster because I'm struggling to get everyone on the card now, so it's only going to get worse there. So Psychosis, I'm probably going to ignore that as well and let him do his thing. Rey Mysterio, I'd be much more tempted to have him, and also because he's been wrestling with ECW, his popularity is, I think that's quite generous, 55 for 20-year-old Rey Mysterio, especially as he's wrestling for ECW, who's a very, very small promotion in the US at the moment. But you know what, we'll let that go. I think this overall as a mod, the actual skills and popularity are very, very generous on this. But again, I'm not really playing this one to kind of challenge myself too much. So the fact he's been offered another contract over in Mexico, I'm probably going to leave that for the minute, even if he hangs around in Mexico for a few years. Perhaps I can bring him in one day, but at the moment I think he's a bit too cheaty, and I also think having a 20-year-old who's kind of his skills and his popularity are like this would be like, strap a rocket to the moon for him because he would go absolutely miles. So in that sense, I don't want to do too much with him, I guess. So we'll let him. We love him. We'll set him free. So we'll go there. We had a house show last night, which attracted Hoku. What was it? Crikey. It's like we're holding our house shows in Japan for some reason, but that's fine. And the WWC production change have changed from professional to hired pro. I think my production is kind of fine with what we're doing, isn't it? Yep, I've got no real problems. I don't mind upping these. We've got an absolute boatload of cash, so if at any point I want to try and do that, I will do, but I'm not so worried there. We've got Monday Nitro in 3 days, so let's squizzle through there and see if anything happens. I wouldn't mind getting a bit of Nitro booked up today just to see what's going on, and I want to get that kind of show in the bag because I've got a few of our storylines I want to kind of start progressing, and we can go from there. So we'll have a look at that. Hopefully we'll get through to some of that. So what have we got here? Brad Armstrong has been hired by USWA. Yeah, quite like Brad Armstrong. Someone on the on a YouTube chat a few lives ago was talking about him being one of the Armstrong brothers and being a really good hand. He looks really good. He looks $1 million, and he's got all the skills there. Again, I'm not sure I massively need him. I don't want to bloat my roster with these kind of lower carders, lower mid carders. He's bordering on just being a jobber. I mean, he's big in the mid-Atlantics, but the rest he's going to struggle with there, Southeast. But he's going to struggle with the rest there. So I don't want to bloat my roster. But again, he's quite a good hand to have around. I wouldn't mind him in WCW if we had less people. You know, I don't need that many people on my roster, so we're going to get out there. Kevin Sullivan, he's been offered they've altered their terms. Oh man. Kevin Sullivan's a weird one because I don't really want him. I don't massively need him, but he is kind of massively integral to the Dungeon of Doom that we're going on. He's been offered a deal that's not being seriously considered. I've offered him a great big fat contract. If Kevin Sullivan, the dipstick, knows what's good for him, he will absolutely accept my offer because it is definitely better than anything else he's got on the table. He is, at those 45 years of age, and obviously got him feuding with Hulk Hogan, who's like 1 million years old anyway at the moment, but these guys are going to be pretty integral to what's going on. So as much as I don't massively like him, I do need him around. So I'm going to ignore that, though. Shouldn't be too big a problem. Oh, look, a booking position in the UWA. Goodness. The Universal Wrestling Association. Where's that booked out of? Some Mexican Lucha Libre one. Yeah, this is definitely stretching my knowledge of wrestling and what wrestling companies are around this time. The fact they've got losing an absolute boatload of cash. If I was being aggressive, I'd probably go and try and buy these guys out, but that's not the sort of thing I'm interested in at the moment. I think it's a fairly big Mexican promotion anyway. Hey ho. Yeah, I'm not worried about buying anyone out. My goal is to buy out the WWF, who I don't think is going to be. No, they're 9 million in the. Oh look, they're signing loads of people. What's going on here? Luna for Sean. Lilani Kai. Man, they're bringing everyone in. Who's Reggie Bennett? Oh, some female wrestler. Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, so that's good. That's good. I like the WWF actually trying to sign people. That's going to make my life a little bit harder, and I kind of want that. I want to have a challenge. So, but I'm not going to be moving there anytime soon to booking anyone else. So, not worried about any booking head positions. But Ray Dudley agrees a deal with the ECW. Oh, there we go. Dudley boys carry on there. Billy Gunn has agreed a deal with the WWC. He'd be a good one to have, wouldn't he? Shouldn't have him. He's got a written contract. Oh, and a handshake deal there. Fair enough. Harley Race has joined ECW. That's quite an interesting one. I like the idea of that. Oh, ECW have hired Jim Neidhart. I can't. Yeah, he's got a sleazy persona. I guess he's not the kind of person I'd want on my roster, but you know, that's down to them. Brian Adams agrees to deal with WWC. So Crush. Oh, he's only working for them as well at the moment. Wow, he's got crazy popularity stats for someone who's going to be crazily poor in the ring, I'd imagine. Yeah, not a lot of green there, is there? But he's a people person who's often in trouble. That's not the best thing to have, isn't it? To be fair. Too Cold Scorpio joins WWC. WWC signing absolutely everyone here, aren't they? They're going for it. I love that. Balls Mahoney has joined ECW. There's a shocker. Who would have thought about that, eh? And Glenn Osborne joined the ECW locker room. Okay, well, yeah, this is good. I like this. I like the start of the game. We'll always have this where loads of the companies are kind of fleshing their rosters out, and we always have this and give it about 2 or 3 weeks in, and then it all kind of calms down, and we know what's going on then, don't we? So it's a little bit easier from that point onwards, which isn't too bad. Again, nothing too exciting happening. We've got some of the deals here. I've got 4 signings here that want to join. So we've got Raven. I'd really like to bring in Raven. Jake Roberts. I'd like to bring in Jake Roberts to go with Raven. Only problem is they're all heels here, aren't we? We're all looking at heels. He's gonna be better as a heel, surely. Jake Roberts, isn't he? Better as a heel, yeah, absolutely. Raven. Yeah, I'm not worried about the actual deal, sorry. Skills. Raven, again, he's a really big one. At 30 years of age, I don't feel it's much of a stretch to bring him in. Obviously, his pop and everything's a bit low, but I'm not worried there. This one, definitely want to complete this signing. That brings me the Steiner brothers in. That's going to be an important tag team for me. I mean, if you do watch these live streams, I don't want to give away too much, I guess, with the live streams. But there is kind of, I've got big plans for the Steiners, so I definitely need him in. And Miss Elizabeth, again, is another one who I've got really big plans for. She'll be quite integral to one of the storylines I have. Let's have a look at her skill. She's going to be better as a babyface, isn't she? I want to bring her in as a part of a deal, as part of her storyline. But I don't quite need her just yet. She's going to be a funny one to book because obviously her sex appeal is really good, quite decent. But she was just Miss Elizabeth. She was just, she was just that person that was around. And I guess for a TEW point of view, she's going to be a bit of a trickier one to book. But I do need her. Do you know what? I'm going to complete all the signings because I need those for. We've got some negotiations going on here. So the only other one I'm looking to bring in at the moment is Dr. Death, Steve Williams. I'll have to see what I'm going to do with him. I'd like to bring him in, but I don't want it again. I'll have to have a look at my roster. I'm definitely going to need to start cutting some people now. Randy Savage has big morale issues. Macho Man is not going to be happy because he is definitely not going to be happy that I've brought in his ex-wife. So I'm not kind of surprised. He's divorced from Miss Elizabeth, so he's not a big fan of Miss Elizabeth. But kind of got to deal with it, I'm afraid. Macho is kind of that's life. She's going to be pretty big. She's going to be pretty big in a storyline that involves him as well. So suck it up, Susan. Maybe can we go in there and offer him some cash? We might offer him. Oh my God, he's on $150,000 a month. Good Lord. He's angry. I only work for WCW. Furious at the signing of Miss Elizabeth. Should we give him some cash? Randy Savage. How much bonus should we give him? Should we give him like $15,000 and tell him to be happy? So he's gonna be angry for a bit, but you know what? He's gonna be booked all right. He's gonna do all good stuff, so he's gonna be okay. Weirdly, Miss Elizabeth, I'm gonna kind of keep off the show for a while. So there's a point at me that I might just give her some time off and make her super happy. But she's gonna go in. She's gonna be involved quite a lot with one of the storylines, but I can't decide whether I want to debut her as a face or a heel. I know Miss Elizabeth Hill is always kind of mental, but I've got an idea with her and actually Brian Pillman to come in together. But Brian Pillman would have to. Brian Pillman is going to be heel, and Miss Elizabeth is obviously a super face. So maybe I don't want to give too much away actually. So let's move on. We might come up to the next episode of Nitro that we can kind of get a little bit of that booked before I have to shoot off. As I say, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter live than I normally do. So I'm going to go in here. What have we got here? The Ultimate Warrior has been hired by the WWF. Oh my goodness. I can't help but feel the WWF have made a fatal error there, but that's it. Rikishi Fatu has been hired by the WWC. Rikishi, another really good good wrestler, a nice young one, 28. Kind of would have liked to have brought him in. I think his pop on this is still a bit crazy for this time, and give him a couple of years to get to that. But I think this is a bit generous at the moment. But yeah, one on my short list who I was thinking about, but not too worried about it. Dave Taylor, I put a bid in for him. I quite like the idea of him coming in as part of the Blue Blood stable, but as I brought Robbie Brookside in, I don't really need him now, so he can go off and do his merry thing with the USWA. We're more than happy with that. Steve Williams is signed with the ECW. I'm absolutely stunned by that because I gave him a pretty tasty offer, and I thought he would have signed for me. I could yet still just go in and negotiate with him anyway, couldn't I? And just steal him away. We'll think about that. We'll think about that one. And the USWA have changed their productions to in-house again. Not worried by that. That's not a worry for us in the WCW. So Randy Savage is still annoyed, but that's not going to change, is it? Right. So let's have a look at house show booking because I could try something on the house show here. I think I'm already using, Pillman and Randy Savage as opponents. I'm not worried about that. Let's do Brian Pillman. So we've got Brian Pillman there. We'll do Brian Pillman. And we'll have Sensuous Sherry managed by... I need to delete that one. I stopped monitoring. So Brian Pillman and Sensuous Sherry as manager. We'll look at that. I still want to see if Booker T and Sting are decent partners. Actually, I'm not too worried about that. We'll get rid of that, and we'll have. I like using the house show stuff to pick stuff up. It's a really good way of doing it. Miss Elizabeth. Oh no. I didn't put her on house show duty. That's not a problem then. Okay, let's carry on looking at Booker T and Sting as partners then. Sting as partners. Oh, what do you want her in Sting? Oh no, so I wanted to get rid of that one. Sting as his manager, don't I? That'd be crazy. I love fishing for chemistry. I like looking up for chemistry stuff and seeing how things go. So, we'll have a little look at a few other people on here, possibly. I've got to start. I want to get an on-screen authority figure. So that's something I'm kind of looking at. Another thing I want to try and find is I want to bring back the Road Warriors. I don't know if actually Hulk available. Oh, Road Warrior Hulk is available. Yeah, I really need to find a tag team partner for Road Warrior Hulk because he's not going to do anything on his own. So I might just start randomly working through this list till I can find him a half-decent tag team partner and see what he can do, because Animal's injured for the best part of about 12 months, I think. He's absolutely out for donkeys. So we need to find someone for Hulk to tag with, because I just don't think Hulk's going to cut the mustard as a singles competitor. So I don't know. We'll go through this list and let's just pick someone at random that we could perhaps tag him up with. Meng might not be a bad shout. No, he's a heel though, and I don't want to turn him at the moment. Let's see about Road Warrior Hulk and Scott Norton. Oh no, Road Warrior Hulk. And Scott Norton don't work for these shows. Man, that's crazy. You're crazy. Right, let's do one of the easy ones, I think. Oh no, I don't own Sabu, do I? I'm going to ignore these for the time being. It's getting on my nerves with too many of these. Oh, here we go. So we've got Rick Steiner. Oh no, Rick Steiner is he's going to debut a badass gimmick. That's fine. What else we got here? Kurosawa's going to turn heel. That's fine. Steve Armstrong's going to turn face. Yeah, that's okay. That's just part of the Armstrong brothers. They're a kind of jobber tag team that we've got there, so I'm not too worried about that. Raven is preparing a cult leader gimmick. Yeah, I'm not too sad about if that's going to be his heel persona. I might stick him in the Dungeon Doom with Jake Roberts as well, although I think Jake's maybe a little bit too obvious and maybe a little bit too big to go in there to be a kind of second fiddle to the Taskmaster, but I'm going to try and weave him into the storyline with the Dungeon of Doom. I was going to put Raven and Jake Roberts together, but I need to revamp the Dungeon of Doom a little bit because I don't really like Kamala's leaving. Kamala's really, really unhappy because I made him lose to the Renegade, so I'm not unhappy there. And I want to get rid of the Zodiac, so I don't mind Meng being in there, but I might stick Raven and I might stick Sabu in there to replace these two. I've got the Giant, which is decent. I like Meng. Meng's just a general tough egg, isn't he? He's just a tough born fighter, you know. He's got it all here and he's badass reputation. You're not going to muck around with him, are you? So yeah, he's a born fighter. I wouldn't fight him. He's definitely a heel. So I don't mind Meng hanging around in the Dungeon of Doom for a little bit longer. That's kind of fine. That's all right. It's the other two because the Zodiac, obviously, Brutus the Barber Beefcake is absolutely terrible. Can't wrestle for toffee, really. Good physical attributes. And fundamentals, to be fair, not too bad, but I've got no plans for him whatsoever. So I want to kind of get him out there. And the Zodiac was, in real life, was an absolutely terrible gimmick. He just said yes and no all the time, wasn't it? Or was it just no? One or the other. But literally, that's all he just used to say. It was a ridiculous gimmick. It was a whole part of like the Dungeon of Doom just being tosh. So Kamala's going to bugger off fairly soon. His contract, I think, runs out in he's got 22 days left. So he's going to be jobbing his ass out on the way here, as we'd imagine. So Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner, he's going to work babyface. This will give me the Steiner brothers as a tag team. Spoiler alert, they're not going to appear until the actual shows. So I mean, if you watch this, you're kind of realising that that's going to happen. But obviously, if you're just watching the main shows, I'm going to keep them off so people don't know they're there, and they're going to have a bit of a debut at the next pay-per-view. So let's get them. We must have the Steiner brothers. There we go. We'll make them a permanent unit. So that adds the Steiner brothers to our tag team stuff there. This is a legitimate big team to have. It's going to be a face team. I want to bring them in. Obviously, we know Scott Steiner. He's 33 years of age. He's got a lot of years ahead of him and will probably go on to pretty big things. I don't actually think he's a bit of a problem backstage, but he's not quite as bad as you'd imagine at the moment. He's got a groundswell of support at the moment. Oh, that's cool. And Rick Steiner is obviously 34. He's not going to be a problem, is he? Yeah. He's all right, but again, he's going to be lacking in the kind of charisma, isn't he? Surely. Charisma, yeah. I don't know, 86 maybe, potentially. So, yeah, there's an opportunity for perhaps a decent run from Rick Steiner, but I want to bring them in as a kind of big name going in on these things, so that's going to be cool there. Right. So what Nitro is... Oh, what have I not dealt with? Oh, Dean Malenko is considering my offer. He wants to accept it. He was being offered a few other contracts elsewhere, so I just wanted to tie him down because although he's probably not going to shoot up the card for us, he's obviously an absolutely amazing hand to have in that kind of mid-card to upper mid-card gatekeeper kind of area, I guess. I'm not expecting Dean Malenko to be my next main event star, but I'm expecting him to be able to put on good matches with absolutely anyone he wrestles with. So, yeah, in that sense, I need guys like him sticking around, so that's good. Oh, we've got a lot here. I want to get rid of a lot of these because these got my nerves a little bit. I'm not quite sure. I've brought Raven and Jake Roberts in, but I've not quite got the perfect moment to debut them at the moment, so I'm going to have to give that a little bit of thought. I've got a few ideas with my actual storylines that are ongoing at the moment. They don't quite fit into them. So I don't know whether to... Yeah. I've got an idea with Jake Roberts. Again, these are guys that are probably not going to do much. Do you know, we'll book the next Nitro. Ignoring those. Jake Roberts is definitely a bit more of a problem because obviously he's a bigger name. So I don't want to do something with him straight away. So we'll see what that does. And then obviously we've got Raven. He's a bit of less of a name. So I am tempted to stick Raven in the Dungeon of Doom because I think he's a good fit in there. And I'd quite like to do something ultimately about sort of Raven's flock and a bit of a breakaway between the two. Again, that's real real long-term kind of stuff that we'll go through. But, you got to look long-term when you're playing this kind of stuff. God, Rey Mysterio Senior has joined CMLL. Madness. WWF Superstars. Not worried about that. WWC side, Rick Martel. Rick Martel was someone I was looking at, but again, I don't have much there, so I'm not worried about that. WCW Main Event. It got a TV rating of 0.24. That's not too bad. I've got it on some real graveyard sort of channels and some real rubbishy channels, so I'm not really worried about that. Again, someone else was talking in the comments about kind of jazzing up Main Event and making it a little bit more exciting, which I will do eventually, because all I'm trying to do at the moment is use it to fish for a little bit of chemistry and fish for a little bit of anything that we might be able to get something a bit exciting. I think long term what I'll end up doing is probably booking them so the shows are a little bit more exciting, so there's actually a bit more of a flow to it. But otherwise, no, not too much going on with it at the moment. We need to kind of trim this roster down and get a little bit more clever with it. Mick Foley's joined the AWF. Do want to bring Mick Foley in one day, but I think that's a bit too early doors for me to do that, and I think it's going to be a bit cheating. Anything else? Rey Mysterio. He's chosen someone else over me. What an absolute... I offered him cheap deals, so I don't mind. And Psychosis. So that's kind of cool. I like Psychosis and Rey Mysterio being out there wrestling more. I like these young talents to be out there wrestling, so I want them to get a lot of matches in rather than anything else. So I think that's a big important thing. Ricky Morton has joined the AWF. Good Lord. Honky Tonk Man joins the WWC. It's what I like about starting games. You get all of these kind of things where the new guys join lots of stuff. And they're joining all of the different companies. AWF have added Dean Malenko. I thought we'd agreed on me. Oh, he's got... Oh, yeah, okay, so it's not exclusive. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I'm not worried about that either. Any other exciting stuff going on? Not really. WWC have hired Conan. Again, that's one guy I'd look to bring in, but not too fussed with that at the moment, because I think that'll be a bit too, again, early doors for him. And I just don't have stuff for them. If I had like a real clear picture what I'd want to do with him, that I could do it. But it's really just like, wouldn't it be good if? And I want some real concrete plans before bringing people in. Terry Taylor, the new head book of a BCW. Fair enough. I think, who's that? Candy Divine has joined the WWF. I don't even know who Candy Divine is back in those days. Dutch Montel in control of ECWA. Fair enough. Shane Douglas agrees to deal with the AWF. Shane Douglas would have been a good one. I bet he's looking decent. Yeah, he's a pretty solid there. Yeah, Dean Douglas over there in WWF at that time and ECW. Some funny stuff happening with him, taking the belts over there and all that sort of stuff. And Dean Douglas was an absolutely terrible gimmick. If anyone goes back and watches WWF around that time, the Dean Douglas gimmick of him being like this school teacher was absolutely terrible. So, my goodness, look at this. ECW hire Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Could you imagine it? Triple H down in the Indies with Paul Heyman. My God. So, well, let's see. We'll shortlist him, actually, because I've not got him on there. We'll see what Triple H does out in the indie-tastic world of ECW. I wonder if he'll go on to do anything. Good knows. The Warlord joins USWA. Not worried about that. Dennis Knight joins WWC. Fair enough. Not some exciting stuff going on there. Rick Martel, as we've found out, Rikishi, Malenko, we're not worried about any of these. And our viewing figures. So I think for our first show for that, we've done all right with Main Event there. I've got absolutely no problems there. And we've got Nitro tonight. So do you know what? I've got a little bit more time. I've probably got about another 10 minutes that I wanted to be on here for. So we'll get a little bit of this first show booked. This second Nitro booked. For your convenience, Humphrey Coliseum in the southeast has been auto-booked. Yeah, I'm not worried about this too much. A backstage incident, what have we got here? Kamala and Bobby Heenan that requires my attention. Now, last time we had Sabu turned up and he wasn't listening, and oh my goodness, Macho Man was the backstage, judge, jury and executioner for that one, and he told him off. So what have we got here? Kamala was brought before the wrestlers' court accused of not joining in the rest of the locker room for a night out. You bore off Kamala. The judge, Bobby Heenan, which is definitely better than Randy Savage at least, because I don't need that lunatic running things, found him guilty and sentenced him to buy drinks for everyone after the show. Kamala does not have a defined personality and is currently angry. So he's got absolutely no personality worth talking about, and he's an angry man. Who cares? It's had a small positive effect on Kamala. Well, Kamala, quite frankly, I'm afraid, mate, you have got zero future in the WCW. I don't really like having people with bad morale, especially when I've caused the morale issues. It feels like I'm not booking very well. So normally I'd try and do my best to either sort that out or bin them off. Normally I'd bin them off, but I think Kamala, with some 54 in the popularity, has got some use to me in promoting and pushing some of my jobbers who can beat him on the way out. He's got a terrible stamina. I tried putting him in a match with the Renegade. I mean, imagine that. Kamala versus the Renegade. But I put him in a match with the Renegade, and he just couldn't wrestle for any length of time because he's so just knackered. So, right, so let's go into this first episode, or this second episode of Nitro. I keep saying first episode. We're going to kick things off with an angle. And it's going to be oh, I need to move this out of the way. So we're going to have Kevin Sullivan and Dungeon of Doom challenge Hulk to 4v4 War Games at Full Brawl. So right, we're going to have Kevin Sullivan. Oh, not Kimono. Goodness me. We're going to have... Oh, is Kevin Sullivan not? Oh, have I lost Kevin Sullivan? What? I thought he was... Oh no, has he accepted their offer? When did that happen? Dun dun dun. I've managed to lose Kevin Sullivan. I didn't think he'd accepted their offer yet. Okay. We can work around this. Oh, is he off? Oh no, is he? Because he's got his other contract. He's wrestling elsewhere, isn't he? Kevin Sullivan. Oh no, it's not. It's because he's called the Taskmaster, isn't it? Oh, thank Christ for that. Oh, I thought I'd literally lost Kevin Sullivan without even realising it. Imagine that. I just genuinely got really sad that I'd nearly lost Kevin Sullivan. Right. Taskmaster. Challenges Hulk Hogan to War Games at Full Brawl. Hulk Hogan to 4v4. So we're sticking with the idea that Kevin Sullivan... Oh, thank God for that. I was generally panicking. I'd ruined my game there by losing Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan comes out and he's with... we're going to have the Giant as well there. We'll rate him on Menace because that's what he does best at the moment. So basically the premise of this one is Kevin Sullivan's going to come out and he's still along the idea that he wants to kill off Hulkamania, so he's challenging Hulk Hogan to a 4v4 battle at War Games. He's going to tell him that, you know, this is going to be the start. This is the beginning of the end for your Hulk. This is where we start killing off Hulkamania. This is where Hulkamania comes to die. He's going to be 4v4 at War Games. What happened in real life, and I'm going to still kind of do the exact same thing, is Hulk Hogan stipulated that if he won the War Games, that he would get 5 minutes inside the cell with Kevin Sullivan to do whatever he wanted to him. So we're going to carry on with that as an idea, because I quite like that. I think that's pretty good. We'll get Meng. We'll have Kamala. Zodiac. Is everyone in the Dungeon of Doom, isn't it? I think. And Hulk Hogan is going to be off screen. He'll be off screen. We'll rate him on pop because he's just huge. So that is going to be the opening. We're going to open the show with a... it's going to be a kind of brooding backstage kind of segment, I guess that one would be. So the Taskmaster challenges Hulk Hogan to a 4v4 War Games at Full Brawl. Let me just double check. I got everyone in there. Oh, I didn't put the Shark in. I knew I was missing someone. And we'll have... Oh, he's right at the top. the Shark John Tenta. I quite like John Tenta Earthquake, so I want to kind of get him pushed a little bit. So we'll get him in there. What's another angle we want to get going is we need the Flair versus Sting angle. So we're going to have Flair. Oh, don't need capitals there. So we're going to get Flair and Arn Anderson are going to come out. And Arn Anderson say they are recruiting for the Four Horsemen. To take down Sting. Applications welcome. Oh, I can't fit that in. That's annoying. So basically what we're having here is Sting is in the sights of Mr. Ric Flair. Ric Flair will do on just, let's do him on microphone because he's just going to be outrageous. Arn will do on, I don't know about Arn actually. I don't know what he's like on the mic. I don't think that's really when we're going to book him as on a microphone one. Oh yeah, microphone's off the charts. Yeah, brilliant. We'll book him on the mic as well. So neither of those. I really like trying to go unscripted most of the time with stuff because I think that does produce better results in the long run. Sting can be rated on overness, but he's going to be off screen. Yeah, so we've basically got Ric Flair wants to take on Sting, really. He doesn't like Sting. Sting has got the US title, which we want to take off Sting. So he's involved in that. It's kind of the house that Flair built is the thing there. But AJ Styles nicking the kind of idea off him there a little bit. But so we're going to have Flair and Anderson come out and basically saying they're looking to recruit for the Four Horsemen. We don't ride as a 2, we ride as a 4. It's the Four Horsemen. That's what we want to get. So we're going to get him. We're going to get Flair and Anderson doing that. So we're going to have some people who are going to try and impress Ric Flair and Arn Anderson along the way and try and become Four Horsemen. I've not actually decided who my other 2 horsemen are going to be yet, so we'll go from there. But we'll get that in there. That's not going to be the opening of the show. I'm not sure what that's going to go in there. But we'll get that in there somewhere. Right, what else? I need to book my other... What I like to do is kind of try and get my angles booked in and then do my matches around it because I'm not quite sure what's going to go on there. We're going to have a little quick... I've got a terrible... not a match. A terrible angle currently going on. Oh, Arthur, how you doing, man? Do you know what? You're not missed loads. I was just basically going through a lot of my contracts that I've been offering and stuff like that. So we've just got through to booking a bit of Nitro. This is going to be a bit of a quick one today, just to get back in there because I want to get up to this episode of Nitro. But you're not missed anything exciting other than basically everyone kind of leaving me and joining elsewhere. I have brought in a couple of new people myself, which you might be interested in, which is Raven, who we've brought in. We've got Raven coming in. I've got Jake the Snake. So we've got Jake Roberts has joined, which is pretty big news. He's 40, but he's going to do some big things for me, I think, within this Dungeon of Doom Hulk Hogan storyline. And also the other man who you probably wouldn't have seen would be Scott and Rick Steiner we've brought in. So that's the exciting stuff you missed. But other than that, not a lot to be missed elsewhere. So pleased to have you joining me. It's always good to see a friendly, familiar face or name. Probably name. Another angle we need to book. This is a terrible Hulk injury video package. So basically what's happened is Kurosawa, in real life at this time, he broke Hulk's arm. They came back, they had a miniature little feud. Problem is like, neither of these guys, this is going to be, Road Warrior. Generally, this isn't going to be a very good storyline with Road Warrior Hulk and Kurosawa. I can't see it leading to anything other than a pretty rubbish match as well. I'm guessing Hulk. Is he booked elsewhere then? Can I not stick him on there even though he's not wrestling? Let's have a look at him. So we've got Road Warrior Hulk. So, he should be around, shouldn't he? Let's have a look. as I say, it's Hawk versus Kurosawa, and it was a real one at the time because at Clash of the Champions he broke Hawk's arm in a seated armbar, and Hawk came back for revenge. And the real problem is just like, these are just gonna bomb things as far as the ratings go. So I'm not particularly, it's not very good for me, but we'll see how we go. So why is Hawk not on my Road Warrior Hawk? Oh, he works for New Japan as well. New Japan is on a Monday, so he's touring with New Japan. Oh, no. Okay, I'm not really worried about that. I don't really want to get this feud going, so I can ignore that one for this week, and I can put that on main event and do that there. But that's a kind of really secondary kind of feud. So let's book a different angle that I need to chuck in there. So another thing we're going to have is backstage. We're going to have Randy Savage. He's going to be he's kind of going a bit mad. He's hearing voices and going a bit crazy. And he's back there and he sees the Diamond Doll. And he's like, I can hear a woman's voice. I know they are big signatures. I've got the big signings and it's really exciting. So I guess we're like blowing the load on this one. But the Steiners, they're going to come in as faces. So I've got Hulk Hogan challenged to the 4 versus 4 War Games match against the Dungeon of Doom. Hulk is going to manage to recruit Lex Luger for this, but then they're going to be 2 members down, and then at Full Brawl we are going to debut. The Steiners are going to be their partners, so it's going to hopefully be a pretty big debut for the Steiners coming in main event in Full Brawl with them. That should hopefully push them as a really big tag team. So they're going to come in as faces and team up with Hulk. Hulk's going to be like, you know what, brother, I've got someone here who can help us out, and that'll be fine. So yeah, they're going to come in that sense. In that one. Oh, Diamond, I nearly rated Diamond Dallas Page on Sex Appeal then. So yeah, Raven I think will fit in with the Dungeon of Doom. And as I say, I think if I look at the Dungeon of Doom, I want to bin off the Zodiac, I want to bin off Kamala, and I want to replace them with Raven and Sabu. I think will be a bit more interesting. I want to make the Dungeon of Doom a little bit more serious. At the same time, I kind of still want to lean into that kind of campy fun that they have, because it doesn't need to be too serious. I've got a way that I'm hopefully going to take the belt off of Hogan as well, because I don't want Hulk to be the world champion and feuding with the Dungeon of Doom, just because basically the Dungeon of Doom aren't a big enough stable to really carry that feud through, in my opinion. There's no one in there that's big enough for those big kind of main event matches. So I want the world title to be main eventing with main event kind of guys, and I'm going to have Hulk hopefully dealing with the rest with the Dungeon of Doom. But I want to make it a bit more... I might end up going down the kind of like Wyatt family cinematic, Matt Hardy, broken Matt Hardy kind of cinematic kind of matches with it. So Hulk should hopefully drag out some decent performances from all of the Dungeon of Doom, because, he's big enough star to do that. So, but he just doesn't need the world title there at the same time. So we're going to have Macho says Macho is confused and finds the Diamond Doll backstage. So this one is basically Macho Man Randy Savage is a bit confused going backstage. He can hear voices in his head all the time, and he's like, why can't anyone else hear this? He thinks he can hear a woman in distress. Lo and behold, that woman in distress is actually going to be Miss Elizabeth. She is going to be in distress, and Macho has got some sort of amazing connection with her to know that she's in distress. But I can't quite work out whether I want to make Miss Elizabeth the heel or face in this eventually. I think she'll have to stay face because it's Elizabeth and she's lovely. But this is kind of building towards this, in Randy Savage is going a bit crackers. So we'll stick him in there. And have I got any more I wanted to get in there? Hulk and Kurosawa I can ignore. I've got some tag team matches. I need to put in some tag team matches to kind of push for the tag team titles. Just because I need to take him off Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater. So I've got the 3 main angles in there. I need to get Hulk on there, and I need to get Lex Luger. So Flair and Anderson. I think I'm going to end the show, because we had Lex turn up last time and he was helping out Sting, or was he? Who knows? we're kind of going to go do a whose side are you on kind of thing, but we're going to have, I think to end the show, just because it's a very WCW thing to do, Lex comes out and is confronted by Hulk, asking him, whose side are you on? Brilliantly, in real life, this actually happened in real life. Lex Luger was kind of confronted with the what side is he on kind of storyline, and he brilliantly came out and said he left the other place because he was bored of playing with kids and he wanted to play with the big boys. I mean, he genuinely came out and said that. It's absolutely woeful. Most of his time at the start of his WCW run, remembering he turned up as like the absolute massive superstar. He turned up and it just looked like an ass. He just said so many stupid things and looked stupid. So pretty quickly they turned him into a bit of a bumbling fool character, but it is what it is. So we're going to have Lex and Hogan in the ring. Basically, Hulk Hogan's going to say, look, brother, I'm dealing with a lot of problems here. So's the Stinger. And we just all want to, we'll have Sting come out as well, and he'll be part of the confronting. So we got what? Lex comes out and is confronted by Hulk and Sting. So basically, Hulk and Sting are going to say, look, brother, we've got a lot of problems here with the Dungeon of Doom, so we'll get we'll get the Taskmaster on this one. So the Taskmaster is going to be off screen, so we don't need to worry about him too much. And Ric Flair is going to be off screen, and we'll put Arn Anderson in there as well. So basically, Hulk's going to come out and say, look, brother, I've got some problems here with the Dungeon of Doom and the Taskmaster. Sting's going to be saying, look, I've got a problem with Ric Flair and Arn Anderson. We just want to know, like, where do your allegiances lie, Lex? And, whose side are you on? And Lex is going to do the old, I came here to stop playing with kids and I want to play with the big boys. And he's kind of going to say, I'm not on anyone's side. I'm on Lex Luger's side. I'm Team Lex. I'm here to win that belt off you, Hulk. I want to be the man. I want to be the man here. And they're kind of all going to have a bit of an uneasy stare down, but they're going to be happy with that to end the show. And what we might do is we might give we'll give Lex Luger, that's the top of the thing. So what I think I'll do is we'll give Lex Luger his debut match in this one. So we'll have good old Lexi boy, and he'll have to face a heel. This is going to be a main event, so I want someone reasonable. Oh, goodness me. Complete lack of well-known heels. If Hogan doesn't want to drop the belt, you can do an injury angle where you can have him vacate the belt afterwards. Oh, Arthur, you absolutely stole my ideas there. Yeah, so what basically happened? You know what? I'll tell you now because I think it's an all right idea. What we're basically going to happen is at War Games, he wins the War Games like he did in real life. He gets his 5 minutes with the Taskmaster. The only thing is, he doesn't get his 5 minutes because the Giant comes in, Big Show comes in, beats down Hogan. So Hogan's going to get the beat down. However, prior to this, his team is going to be made up of the Steiners and Lex Luger. He is going to ask Lex Luger to be his partner. Lex Luger is going to say, yes, I'll be your partner if I get a title shot at the Nitro after Full Brawl. Hulk's going to say, sure thing, brother, let's all be friends. He's going to do that. Unfortunately, Hulk won't be able to compete. I'm going to have an authority figure come out. My authority figure, I want it to be Mr. Perfect. Because I'm going to basically steal the Bad News Barrett gimmick. So it's going to be, I've got a perfect announcement for you. Unfortunately, Mr. Perfect is pretty much broken at this point in time, so I can't have him do it. So I'm going to actually have Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff come out. And Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff is going to come out and say, I've got a wonderful announcement. If you can't compete and defend the title, then it is then Lex Luger wins by default. Lex Luger is going to turn around and say, you know what? I don't want to win it by default because Lex Luger is a face. He isn't going to want to do that. He says, if I don't win the title by pinning you to the mat, I'm not going to take it. So then we're going to have Mr. Wonderful who's going to tell us that Hulk has to vacate the title. So what hopefully that'll do, excuse me, is Hulk drops the belt. It will give him an opportunity to feud with the Dungeon of Doom without the belt there. We'll vacate it in just a segment, and then we'll put together a little mini tournament where I'm still not quite decided on where it will go for the pay-per-view, but obviously it's going to be Savage, Pillman, Savage, Sting, Flair, Lex would be involved. Ideally, I mean, I love a oh, my camera keeps wigging out today. What's going on? I personally love a heel champion. I think your world champion should always be a heel because I think it just works better with faces chasing a heel. So I'd like to put the belt on a heel. Got our boy Rick there, haven't we? So there's a good chance there. So yeah, you've got my idea there, Arthur. I'm very much on that. I know I give away a lot on these kind of lives, but I guess that's kind of the point of these lives, is to that kind of backstory of the booking rather than the what's going on. We're going to have Lex Luger. I'm going to put in a match. Maybe we should stick him with Dean Malenko, because Dean Malenko will drag into a decent match and he won't care about losing to him. So we'll have that there. So we'll have this. I'm going to leave the timings at the moment for how I book, just because I think this is a bit easier to do this way around. Lex Luger there, and I think we're going to keep strong. I don't want Malenko looking too rubbish coming out of this one. And I don't think we need to do anything too clever with that. Oh, that's some stuff popping up there. Pictures from years gone by. Yeah, so we're going to keep Dean Malenko fairly strong. So I saw something recently on the Grey Dog software about this, about the protect and keep strong. Obviously, protect is we've got here certain that their flaws should be hidden as much as possible and his strength's accentuated. Whereas the keep strong is just like we just don't knock their pop too much. So I don't want to knock Dean Malenko's pop or his stuff too much. So we'll have that. And we'll also have it as a fairly... I think we'll have it as an open match, to be fair, because I think I like the idea of Lex Luger winning, but he doesn't need to look too super duper in this one. So we'll have that. That's going to be our last match. So that'll be our main event match, is Lex versus Dean Malenko. We'll have Lex going over in that one, and then they'll have their little bit of a ding dong in the ring. So perfect, that works well. I need to get some other matches in. I don't have any real angle matches to deal with, so let's have a look. Just if we just go into our creative, because I don't think anyone's particularly not. Ric Flair's not looking particularly good. Perhaps we'll have the... It feels a bit boring if we just have matches and then people come out immediately and just cut a promo after that. Although that was quite WCW-esque, wasn't it? So let's do that. We'll have Arn and Flair against a reasonably low-down tag team. Not the Nasty Boys. That'll be all far too impressive. Don't want to do it to the the American Males, because they're quite high up my card and I want them to do quite well. Maybe a Mr. JL, just a random tag team of Canyon and JL just getting beaten down by the... Yeah, we'll do that. Chris Canyon and Mr. JL. And they'll go up against Arn and Ric Flair. I'll go 10 minutes for the time being. Ric Flair can win that one. I still need to have a storytelling match as well, so we'll stick that in there. Mr. JL can be the loser. And that's fine. So... yeah. We'll... oh. Cocking my stuff up. So what we'll do is we'll have that as a backstage. This is more like for that, just my own headcanon of how it works. So this isn't too bad. I need to really book one more match in there. I've got no storylines I need to progress with any matches. I could put the Renegade on there to win a match. Might be worthwhile. Again, I could probably do with a tag team, another tag team match. Just doing all right there. Let's get the Harlem Heat winning, because I've actually got some pretty big plans for Harlem Heat. And I've got the James Boys. I've got one's face and one's heel, because the divide hasn't been put in there. But what we'll do is we'll just turn that with Scott and Steve Armstrong. They're due a turn. We'll make this a fairly short one with Booker T there, and we'll make that a storytelling one because I need to have a storytelling match. I want this one as a storytelling. It's hard, isn't it? Because sometimes you don't want to. Now we'll stick in there. So we'll make this our storytelling match for the one there. So we'll have them. And we really need. We need the tag team feud to kick off. So I want the American males to really win the belts off Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater. Actually, I think if I look at the storylines with the tag team one, I've got Colonel Robert Parker there as well, isn't he? He's involved with Sensuous Sherry. So I need to do something to kind of drag this one along, because this is a weird feud in real life with Sensuous Sherry and Colonel Parker. She went around kissing him and stuff like that to kind of distract him and stuff. It's just really weird. So I didn't like it the first thing, but we'll put an angle in there with Sensuous Sherry and Colonel Parker, can't we? And basically we'll have her rated on sex appeal. And he's going to be rated on... He's not very good on the mic, is he? Colonel Parker, surely? Fairly decent. You know what? We'll script this one from the both pair of these. And Sherry's going to say... Sherry wants Harlem Heat to have a title shot. And Parker says... What's in it for me? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We'll have Dick Slater will be off screen. Bunkhouse Buck will be off screen. Booker T will be off screen. And so will Stevie Ray. Got some big plans for for Booker T. And Stevie Ray. Looking to split them up. Looking to turn one face, looking to turn one heel. That's going to be exciting, so I'm looking forward to that. We'll get that in there, and that can go after the things there. So, got 8 segments booked. The show needs to be between 55 and 65 minutes. Currently within, they're expecting a show which is 65% matches. Currently at 53. I'd really like to up that a little bit. I can add one more minute to one of these matches, can't I? Without worrying. So we'll get that in there. Just got a lot of chit chat, haven't we? But that's fine because I need to get these big kind of names in there. So yeah, I think for the moment that is all I'm going to book up to on Nitro here today. Again, I've had loads of people join me, way more than I've ever anticipated. So major thank you for that. Big high fives. That's really good. I'm hoping to get this. I'll hopefully get this Nitro booked up and go through the kind of promos, how I want to sound properly in a proper video that I'll upload rather than a live one, and then we'll go through to the next main event again, which we'll do kind of lives booking. And then I like doing proper videos for just the show and then doing the lives that we kind of go through this and we kind of chit chat a little bit. So as I say, I've really appreciated everyone joining me today and it's been really good. Thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you again soon. Cheers guys. Thank you.